Okay, now we all know that finding true love can be hard, but here's why you shouldn't give up on it just yet. This is for the girl who's this close to giving up on love. You've probably heard the saying, love is what makes the world go round, or whatever they say. And as cliche as it sounds, love is a really big thing. And I feel like it's comes up in almost every conversation in some shape or form because people really desire love and companionship and intimacy in any form, but especially a romantic setting. And, it doesn't take a scientist to know that the current streets, as it is culturally called, sometimes seems discouraging because it's like, how in a sea of a bunch of Mr. Wrongs am I going to find my Mr. Right? And it can be on one side, like we joke about it and it's funny and it's like, oh, like, nah, I'm never going to find nobody. But on a very real note, love is a huge desire for a lot of girls, and it can be a bit heartbreaking when people feel like maybe that's just not for me, even if it's something that at their core they desire and they believe that they were made for. And I've had conversations with a lot of people, a lot more than I would like to admit, because it does break my heart, that just say like, hey, maybe love just isn't in my cards. And if it's not, like, I'm good on my own. And sometimes it manifests as, I'm an independent woman, I don't need a man. But what the person is actually trying to say is, I really would like someone, but since they don't seem to be forthcoming, I'm good on my own. And there's nothing wrong with that because, hey, I am a firm believer in you should be good on your own, but then you find somebody who you are better together with. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with being independent and being good alone. But the truth is we weren't made to be alone. And that also looks like community and friendship and family, but also companionship in the sense of relationships and intimacy. And if you believe that God has destined you for love, here are a few reasons why you shouldn't give up on it, even if it seems to be, taking a little bit of time. 1, this may sound a little bit discouraging, but there's hope in it. Love is truly, to some degree, a game of time and chance. Let me explain. There are so many different factors when it comes to meeting the person that was created for you. If you believe in soulmates, even if you don't, meeting somebody that is compatible with you and aligns with you and aligns with your life and the vision that you have for your life, and you align with them. So many factors. The first one right off the bat being that we live in a world of about 8 billion people. That's a lot of human beings. Like, our earth is huge. So imagine if your partner is somewhere halfway across the world in Australia and you live in the United States of America. It's like, what are we talking about? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different factors when it comes to meeting your person and whatnot, that sometimes we just have to admit that there is a timing aspect to this, and my time may just not have come yet. Because sometimes we want to, prematurely say maybe it's not meant for me because I'm 25, I'm 27, I'm 29, I'm 30 something, and it hasn't happened. But who's to say that your timing wasn't meant to be at 35? But then at 32, 33, you decided, yeah, I'm off of it. I'm not even giving myself a chance for love. And you end up shutting yourself off from what was meant for you, but the time had just not come. And I'm speaking to, I know I'm not naive. I know that there are people who are not Christians that watch this. So you may not believe that there is a God that is writing your story, and at different points, like, he knows the best time for love to come in your life. But humor me for a second, because I believe that there is a God writing all our stories. The only difference is some people choose to submit their lives to him and others choose to not. But when God is writing or was writing your story, he knew that love, companionship, intimacy was required because he created those things. God wants us to have love. He created it for us to enjoy. But God also knew that there's certain timings that would be best in the grand scheme of your life because he's looking at the full scope of your life. You're just looking at right now. But he sees up until the day that you're going to go to heaven, up until the day that, he calls you home. He sees the full thing, and he's able to know her meeting somebody at 17 won't actually work out the best as maybe it would have for somebody else, because in their story, all those things aligned. It doesn't mean one is better than the other at all. Like, at all. But it does mean that in your story, the timing just wasn't right now. Giving up on it entirely because the timing wasn't right now is so, I mean, I don't even have the words. So that's the word, shooting yourself in the foot, because it doesn't mean it wasn't meant for you. It just wasn't right now. Number 2, you've probably heard the saying that good things take time. And as annoying as it is probably to hear, especially on a topic like this, because if you're watching this video, you've probably been waiting on love yourself, but I want to give you a different perspective. We believe that true love cannot be forced. I mean, some people are forcing it, let's be honest. But immediately you're forcing it, it's not true love, and it's not authentic. And I don't believe that any of us wants to be in a relationship where we can just say, well, at least I'm in one, but it's not really authentic to who we are, and it doesn't actually fulfill the needs we have. So because good things take time, and all good things take time, it doesn't mean that it's going to take 50 years. For some people it may, but good things, truly the things that are worth waiting for, don't usually come instantly, because there's a process to it. There's a process to falling in love. There's a process to becoming the person that you need to be in order to mix and mingle with the person that you're meant to be with. You know what I mean? So when we're believing that good things take time, including you becoming the person and also meeting the person and also falling in love with the person, we can see that love actually is something that is worth waiting on, because a good version of love was never going to be immediate. Now, for some people, it may have happened at 17, but it doesn't mean that it didn't take time before that manifested. So if you're the person that it happened for at 17, or the person that it happened for at 35, 45, 55, whatever it may be, it still is a good thing taking time. You are a good thing taking time. Your love is a good thing taking time. And God forbid we wrap it up and call it quits on love as a whole before our good thing is developed. Now, one thing I will say is there is a phenomenon wherein once you stop looking, the thing that you're believing for usually ends up coming. And I don't know about you, but in a lot of the people that I've heard of their love stories, including mine, it kind of happened when they weren't looking for it. And I'm a firm believer in that because I've experienced it. However, not looking for something and letting it, being at rest and being at peace with when it comes, is not the same thing as giving up on it. And what a shame it would be if you gave up on love right before it came to you. I'm seeing this picture in my head of, I think, of this meme, and I'll try and find it, but it's of this guy that was knocking and knocking and knocking at like knocking down this obstacle in his way, and it was kind of like a mining picture, and he kept going and going, and he was one push, like one more dagger away from the oil or the water being like, gushing out, and he stopped. And there was somebody else who had been knocking and knocking and knocking, and they continued on to the next point where their water gushed out. Now, the points for both those people were at different places. They still both had to knock, though. They still both had to dig away. They still both had to do the work, even though it looked like, how come he's getting it? How come his water came out? But the other guy was also at the point of his, to sound like a church mother, breakthrough. You know what I mean? Like, he was also there. But in his mind, because he never stopped going and he couldn't see the full picture, he's probably thinking, well, this guy got his breakthrough, this guy got his love, and it was never in the cards for me. But little does he know that it was actually on the other side of one more attempt. And what if that's you? I believe that if you believe that God desires love for you, and God desires love for all of us, but especially in the romantic setting, don't give up on it, because there is so much fulfillment, there is so much purpose in relationships, especially ones that are godly and in the kingdom of God, that people, saying that because the streets are hard and because finding a good man is difficult, choosing to resign and tap out and say that's not for me, is a lot more dangerous than we realize. And I would hate to see my girls fall into that camp, because it can be you if you just don't quit. I love you. I hope this video resonated with you and meant something to you. If it did, share it with someone else that you think could benefit from it. And leave a comment down below saying, I'm choosing to wait on love, because it's worth waiting for. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video.